there's the 1975 header panel. You know it's a 75 because the turn signals are in the grill. 74, they were down in the valence. We're gonna take this header panel off. We're gonna have this 70 to 73 nose go on. But as you'll see here, there's the turn signal socket and it's made to go in the grill. We need to get it down here. So I'm gonna show you how to take the original plug and match it up to these Classic Industry full housing assembly, and we're gonna get them installed down in that valence. All right, cringe alert. First thing we need to do is cut this plug socket off. We're gonna leave ourselves enough room to be able to work with the wires on both sides. And we're gonna reuse this socket. So the problem that needs solved here is these assemblies come with this kind of bulb socket and it doesn't match. So what we're gonna do is modify this to be able to insert onto the new socket so that you have ground. That's what I struggled with. It wasn't necessarily hooking up your running lights or your turn signal lights. It was, how do I get a ground on here? I didn't want to just wrap a wire around it and tape it or whatever. So the goal here is going to be to drill out the socket from the original to where we can insert it onto our new assembly. And the issue is the ground, like I was saying. So we need to get these tabs to connect with the copper. And drilling it out and retaining our ground wire right here is going to work. So the next thing you need to do is remove these tabs. So those come right out. And once those are removed, you'll be able to test fit your old socket that's been drilled out, bend these prongs in, and it's going to slide right on. And then you're going to have contact both with the ring and those tabs to have your ground. So then you're going to come back to your original wire harness and you're going to extend these three wires. The black, of course, is ground. And then on the driver's side, the black with blue stripe is your turn signal. And on the passenger side, the solid blue is your turn signal. And then on both sides, the brown is your running light. So in this case, I use black for black, I use blue for where we have blue, and I use red for the brown, because I don't have brown. So we got it routed out, and then I took the original plug that was inserted into the back of this socket on both connections. So there's your ground. And then I put these bullet connectors on the end. Those bullet connectors fit perfectly into those socket holes after we removed those tangs. So when you do your ground wire, just remove the original connector from your socket because you can reuse it. As you see, I spliced the original wire in further up to my extension. And then you're able to just slide it right back in to where it came from. So now we got our waterproof plugs back in place. We've got our bullet connectors that we'll just insert. And then we can thread the wires back through to be able to push this grounding piece back on there. So there we are, all installed. It's the driver's side. Got my horns done too. Whoop. And there's a good look at the passenger side. So now we just need to clean up our wiring a little bit, and then we'll test them. But before we test them, we gotta make sure we have good ground. And the ground for these is your marker light. So you gotta have a nice good ground or else they're not gonna work and you're gonna think you did it all wrong. Got those all tinted in, got my foam gasket, got the bezels on there ready to go. We'll line it up with the other parts. So the grounding location for these side marker lights I found is gonna be right there where the harness connects to the core support. So make sure you got clean grounds, clean them up, cinch them down nice and tight. Well, here's something you don't see very much anymore. Yep. Gotta love it. So I've got these mounts with these chrome bezels. So this is how the assembly came out of the car. But to get this bezel off, you've just got these long screws here. Looks like there's just 3 of them. All right, so this is kind of what we ended up with just some soap and water. I think I'm going to go over that with some mineral spirits to get some of that overspray off of it. And then there's the brackets. Got them cleaned up. Jack Attack. We're going to get ready to spray these. Yeah. So that'll be good. We got some rust reformer. So yeah, we're moving along. So those are ready to install actually. Got a little carried away, really excited, and I went ahead and put in the buckets and everything. But I'll just show you, stop short here. So you got to slide the bucket in. This is the bucket. I would recommend doing this before you put the bumper on. If you're like me and you already put the bumper on, you've got to loosen your adjustment screws until this dish comes out. And then you'll be able to reach your hand in there. I guess if you had really small hands, you could reach through there or down here. But the idea is let me flip you around here. There's one screw right here that you can access pretty easy, but there's 2 more. There's one down there and one down there. And for reference, they come out right here. So you need to be able to get your hand down in there to turn those in. So that's that. Then you can put your dish back on. And then these trim rings should go on after the headlight. Let me do that. There we go, got the bezel out. You can see a little better what I'm talking about. So this trim ring goes over top of the light, and you gotta line up your notch with the spring, and then these little tabs get screwed in where they belong. So you got to get your light in first and then put your bezel in afterwards. That way you can get to those screws. And there we go. That's what she looks like. All put together. Man, that is beautiful. Oh man, wow. That is definitely an oh wow moment, guys.